Hi there, my name is Dr. William Bird, and today we're going to be talking about NEAT. I bet you have never heard of it. NEAT is the movement we do when it's not physical activity like running or cycling or fast walking, and it's not sitting down when it's nothing. It's the bits in between. It's the bits when we're walking up the stairs, making a cup of tea, doing a bit of shopping, walking to the car park, all of those things. And we are going to find out that this is the most genius way of losing weight, but it's also really important for our health. Now, what does NEAT stand for? It's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So it's all of those things I've just said. It's the kind of the bits in between everything else, and we kind of ignore it. And that's been the problem, that we kind of think that this part of our day, the activity part, isn't as important as the run or the gym or the sport that we're doing. And of course, all those are really important, and and we would love to go through all the benefits, which we have done already. Those exercises raise our pulse and breathing rate, and they have huge benefits. We know that. But NEAT, this movement, quietly burns off calories much more than exercise. Much, much more. And this is where we have to really kind of understand how important it is to be able to get your NEAT sorted out in your life. Now, where does it fit in the kind of government guidance? Well, you can see here's the kind of sheet for active adults. And you can see in the green is 150 minutes of moderate activity, 75 minutes of vigorous activity. And the middle bit is about your strength of the muscles, which we know is really important. That's why they put it in a big brown circle in the middle to really raise the importance. But the trouble is it's pushed this little thing in the orange, reducing sedentary behavior, into a bit of a corner. And this is what we're talking about. It's that bit when you're not sitting and you're not exercising. So let's think in the concept of weight loss, why it's so important. And to start with, we have to work out why losing weight is so difficult. Well, what happens when we start to lose weight or reduce our calories is our body thinks that we're in a bit of trouble. It thinks there's a bit of a threat to our survival. So it starts to pull the levers to trying to make your calories more available, and scarce calories are saved. So you increase your appetite to try and bring more in. You become much more efficient at burning calories, so you less calories out. We move less NEAT, less calories out, and we store fat more readily so that we don't waste any more calories just by burning them off now. Plus, we've got access to all this cheap food, which makes us hungrier, and we sit around all day. So no wonder it's a real hard business. Particularly because inside our brain, it's trying to fight against us in losing weight. And that's why we struggle. Now, let's have a think about what all of that food is going towards. Well, some of it will be burnt off as heat. Some of it goes into the basal metabolic rate of just looking after our organs, etc. And then some of it is stored as fat. But the basal metabolic rate uses up the majority of the food we eat. And that's simply just housekeeping. That's keeping the body intact. The brain uses up loads of sugar. The kidney, the heart, the liver, muscles, and fat, they all kind of use up energy just if you were lying still in a room of 21 degrees, which is when they measure it, and not thinking about anything nasty to raise your heart rate. Quite a few myths about the muscle and fat. By weight, resting muscle burns about twice as many calories as fat. That's not a huge amount because there's a lot of fat in the body, but there's also a lot of muscle. And if you build more muscle, then obviously you are going to increase the amount of energy expended compared to fat. But both fat and muscle are living organs. They actually use up quite a lot. People think fat is often kind of dead, inert. It's not. is actually quite active. So we've got this basal metabolic rate. Now, just bear with me with this slide because I'm going to go take you through. That uses up 60% of all your energy. Let's go to the yellow one and miss out neat to TEF going up. That's a thermic effect of food. That's the digestion of food. That's pretty constant at about 10% of all your calories. And then the top one, eat, the exercise, that's your run, that's your gym session, that's your sport. And 10% up there is very generous. On an average day for most people, it's about 1 or 2%. So what you're left with is pretty much only one thing that you can vary. Neat. Here it's about 15%. That's about right. But it can be up to 50% of our energy if you're really, really active. So let's have a look and just see how this all works out and how it fits together. So you've got someone here sedentary, and in that bar graph on the left, you can see the BMR is the blue. The darker blue is the thermic effect of food, fairly steady. And then this sedentary person's got about 700 calories per day on neat. Okay, that's your average day. That person then thinks, well, this is not any good. I'm going to have to go for a run. In fact, I'll do 3 5K runs a week. That will get my fitness up and burn off all that fat and make me lose weight. But when you add up all of that exercise of 3 5K runs a week, it's only about 130 calories a day, each day for 7 days. So you've got 700 calories plus 130, 830. You haven't really increased very much. You've done about 4 or 5% of going up. Now let's say you change your job and you become a waiter, or you become a nurse, or you become someone who's on their feet most of the day. Suddenly that 700 calories goes up to 1,400, and it can go even higher. And even though you're not doing any exercise anymore, you've absolutely sorted out those extra 700 extra calories. So what I'm saying here is that by going and using neat, you can increase your calories without having to do all of that exercise of sweaty gym. Now, I'm not going to talk about that, the sweaty gym part, physical activity, the vigorous of sport, as anything bad, because that's extremely good and adds a lot more value to weight loss, certainly. But if it is weight loss you're wanting, then it's the neat that works. Don't forget, there are a few things that affect it. Sleep. If you don't have as much sleep as you should do, you'll find that during a day you'll be moving a lot less. So that's one thing that can make a difference. The other thing that can make a big difference is your weight change and the calories you're taking in and out. So let's have a look here. When your body weight goes up, so does your neat. It's trying to kind of bring your body weight back to a stable weight. But when your body weight goes down, and the evidence for this is much stronger than the one going up, when it goes down, your neat goes down. You move less. The body's feeling threatened and it's wanting to save calories. So it doesn't want you to be wasting lots of calories going around. So it drops that neat. A lot of it's involuntary. And the body weight going down means it's sending signals of threat. Now, there is an exception here, and the study is really exciting, is that when your body weight goes down, but you add a little bit of exercise, your neat value stays the same. It seems to change the way the body views this anymore. And if your body weight goes down, but you exercise a lot, your neat drops dramatically. So you actually may even out again. So the key to this is that when your body weight is dropping, you do a little bit of exercise and your neat will stay the same. And you can, and we'll find out next week how to do that, push your neat up a little bit more. But by doing a lot of exercise, you may find that you're compensating so much, you're back to neutral. You're not actually using up any more calories. Now, What changes NEAT? Well, there's lots of science. I don't want to go too much into it, but your muscle tells us when it's going to be best to move and when not to move, and it makes it more efficient or less efficient. So huge kind of work from the muscle telling us what's going on. The hormone leptin, you may have heard of, that reduces appetite, but it increases NEAT. It's a great one to have around. The stress hormone ghrelin is in the opposite direction. It decreases activity, increases appetite, not the one you want around. And both these hormones are controlled by the hypothalamus. So let's have a quick summary of what we've learned. NEAT can contribute between 20 and 50% of all energy. It's probably the most important way, apart from the dieting itself, to maintain or lose weight. And you can add another 350 calories a day. That's a 15 kilogram weight loss per year. And just moving around, it's just keeping going, not sitting down for long periods of time. And I'm not going to dismiss vigorous and moderate activity. That has different benefits other than weight loss. Well, I hope you found that interesting. If you did, then I would love you to join me at 1:30 next Wednesday, where we're going to talk about how do you actually make NEAT happen in your life. Thanks very much indeed. Look forward to seeing you next week.